Hey, are you a business owner, entrepreneur, or professional? If so, we want you to apply to be a featured guest on our show. My name is Adam Torres, and I host the Mission Matters series of podcasts. I've recorded over 3,000 episodes, and we are just getting started. How do you know if you'd be a good guest to be on the show? Well, only one way to find out, and that's to apply, but I'm going to let you in on a little secret. We want guests that have a story to tell, guests with a brand, a product, or a service that can benefit my audience of listeners. If this sounds like you, go to missionmatters.com and click on Be Our Guest to apply. I'd love to talk to you and get to know more about your story. Again, head on over to missionmatters.com and click on Be Our Guest to apply. All right, now let's get into the show. Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of the Mission Matters Business Podcast, your source for all things business. My name is Adam Torres. You can follow me on Instagram at AskAdamTorres to keep up with my book releases, book tour schedule, signings, all that other good stuff. Always love to connect with you there. And as always, if you'd like to apply to become a co-author of one of my upcoming books, just head on over to the website, missionmatters.com, and click on Become an Author to apply. All right, so today I have Michele Kawamoto Perry on the line, and she's founder of the Foward Project. Michele, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. Happy to be here.
All right, Michele, so we have a great topic today, the importance of cultivating your inner and outer leadership skills. But before we get started, maybe we start off with telling us a little bit more about what you're doing over at the Foward Project, please.
Yeah, of course. So at the Foward Project, we work with organizations to really help them build exemplary leaders with high-performing teams. And we work with people all the way from those that you would call your high potentials all the way up to the C-suite. And what we do is we work with them in emotional intelligence and mindset training, as well as behavior-based leadership development strategies. And this allows them to discover new ways for them to grow their revenues and build much more positive and engaging cultures, and also to accelerate their impact.
So when we think about cultivating your inner and outer leadership, I mean, what exactly do you mean by this?
Great question. So inner leadership is about one's mindset, which is essentially a frame of mind or mental attitude, and it encompasses one's thoughts, beliefs, assumptions, and even their feelings. It affects how we see ourselves and how we see others. And if you think about it, it also guides how we interact with our environment, which in turn shapes our personal and our professional lives. And really, when you talk about outer leadership, that's about the behavior that a leader exhibits. So leadership involves a relationship, and it's about that interaction between people. Right? It's about what people observe of you and what they experience from you. So truly effective and impactful leaders are those who have honed both their inner and their outer leadership.
So I've heard you, say, we've only been talking a couple of minutes, and I've heard you say multiple times the idea of mindset and the importance of mindset, and it seems like this is a theme here. So how does really the mindset training work? I mean, how does a leader really benefit from that?
So mindset training is really based on neuropsychology and mindfulness. And we call it training because developing that beneficial mindset is really like building a muscle, right? It's managing those mental gymnastics that we perform every day. And this is where that magic of neuroplasty comes in. So as neuropsychologist Donald Hebb said, neurons that fire together, wire together. And what he meant by that is that when brain cells communicate in this certain pattern frequently, the connection between them grows stronger and stronger. So with mindset training, what we do is we look to override and rewire those neural pathways to replace a maybe unfavorable mindset with a much more productive and constructive one. So our thoughts inform our behaviors, which eventually become our habits. So with mindset training, we can reshape our habits in a way that makes them more productive. So with the Midas Mind Reset program, leaders then learn how to make more purposeful and more thoughtful decisions. They'll also be able to turn obstacles into opportunities. They'll develop an expanded awareness and open possibilities, right? Revealing more opportunities from that and broadening their horizons. And ultimately, it'll overall enhance their performance.
So how does the Foward Project help leaders to strengthen their outer leadership? Because I want to focus on the outer leadership part of things because, as you mentioned, it takes both sides of it, but I feel like the outer leadership side is something that maybe doesn't get enough attention.
Yes, I agree with that. And I think behavior is very easy. It's not, I shouldn't say it's easy, but it's something in which, we have a lot of control over our behavior, right? So we use the Leadership Challenge, which is a results-proven leadership model. And it was created by these leadership experts and authors, Jim Kouzes and Barry Posner. And it's backed by over 30 years of research, and they had millions of participants in this. And really, at the heart of their research was this question about what do leaders do, again, action, when they are performing at their personal best? And what they discovered is that there are 5 core practices that leaders exhibit when they're at their personal best. And they call these the 5 practices of exemplary leadership, which are 1, model the way. So are you doing what you're saying you're going to do, right? And building that credibility, building that trust. Are you setting the example for others? And if you think about it, without trust, you don't have willing followers. People might follow you because you have structural power, because technically you're the leader, but they're not following you because they actually want to or they believe in you. Mm-hmm. And second is this idea of inspiring a shared vision. So this is about exciting and motivating others through an inspiring vision of the future. So you enlist team members in a common vision by appealing to shared aspirations. So what's in it for them as well? What do they want to do? What's exciting for them? And the third is this idea of challenging the process. So you're taking the initiative to find new ways to improve your organization or your processes or your policies. So you're looking at perhaps what other organizations or industries are doing that might be good for you to adopt. Or, you're also looking internally on what you might want to change. And it's also about fostering this environment of experimentation and taking risks. Because as you know, and I'm sure as you talk to many of people, really it's taking risks that help you to spur that innovation. And number 4 is this idea of enabling others to act. So here leaders encourage collaboration through building trust and really facilitating those relationships. So they support the growth of their people by helping them to develop their own competencies, which then helps them build confidence. And finally, it's encourage the heart. So this is where leaders recognize people for their unique talents and contributions, right? They celebrate successes and create a sense of bonding through community spirit. So really, Adam, you can think of these 5 practices of exemplary leadership as a framework or an operating system through which you can process really any situation or challenge you face. So for example, let's look at diversity and inclusion in the workplace, right? This is a big topic nowadays. Mm-hmm. And when thinking through the framework of the 5 practices of exemplary leadership, leaders would investigate, 1, again, with model the way. Are they setting the example through their behaviors and their discussions and their actions? Number 2, right, inspire shared vision. Does that envision embrace diversity and inclusion? Are they able to communicate that effectively and demonstrate how this will enable others to realize their goals? Challenge the process. How does the process or how do the policies currently in place help or hinder diversity and inclusion efforts? What's been done to successfully incorporate diversity and inclusion into the fabric of their organizations? What unconscious biases might need to be addressed? And then with enable others to act, it's what support and resources are needed to truly embrace and be successful in the organization's diversity and inclusion initiatives. Does the organization and its leaders support employee resource groups, for example? Or number 5, encouraging the heart. So how is diversity and inclusion recognized and how is it celebrated in the organization? So really, when you think about it, Adam, to achieve these exceptional results, with regards to leadership and in your organization, you have to create excellent workplaces, and that ultimately requires exemplary leadership. And at the Foward Project, that's what we work with these organizations to help them build that exemplary leadership. And again, we use a combination of 360 assessments and workshops and one-on-one coaching. So we have a lot of different ways and tools to help the organization based on their particular needs.
Michele, what are typically the right types of either organizations or executives that are typically a good fit to work with the Foward Project, whether it's a niche, an industry, size of company, like what just typically makes a good fit?
Well, usually I would say a size of a company is probably about 50 people or more. And also growing companies are a great, meaning those who are actually building their workforce. They're a great type of client for this, because if you think about it, as people are trying to grow their organizations, a lot of times they're bringing in people and they don't have a lot of time to train these people. And some of the people that they're bringing in, they might be younger as well and very new to management. So it's a way to really help them to reinforce their management skills and their leadership skills. It also is good for those leaders at the top, because it's a way for them to really understand and coalesce together on what it is that they want to build, what kind of culture, what's the vision, what's the mission, and make sure that as they're bringing these new people on board and that they're growing, that everyone is on board and that it's really a collective and a collaborative effort.
So if somebody is watching this or listening to this and they want more information on the Foward Project and they want to connect with you and your team, I mean, what's the best way for them to do that?
So they can do a few things. They can certainly look at our website at www.thefowardproject.co. And they can also email us at moveforward@thefowardproject.co, or they can also call us at 424-258-0706.
And what's that phone number again? I feel like they were grabbing their pencil or pen and they needed a moment or two. They're like, wait a minute, what did she say again? Let's leave that phone number again, please.
Of course, 424-258-0706.
Wonderful. Well, Michele, really appreciate you coming on the show today and sharing more about your background and all the great work that you're doing over at the Foward Project. And to the audience, as always, thank you for tuning in. Hope you got a lot of value out of this. If you're a first-time listener, don't forget, hit that subscribe button. We'd love to have you come back and be a return listener, have a lot of great guests coming up for you, and don't want you to miss out on that. So, again, hit that subscribe button. And, Michele, thank you again for coming on the show. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. It's been wonderful.